scribe, I'll write on there while you speak.
Okay. I
Focus. Remember that what's going to happen here is Sarah will give her connection, and then what I'm going to do is sort of take the ball from her and say, okay, let's make it analytical. Let's see how we can use the concepts that we've learned to understand the literature and ideas outside. Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay. In the story, The Two Kinds, I think her name's Jing Mei.
Yes.
Her mother becomes a dynamic character because at the beginning of the story, she's like striving to be a trophy mom. She pushes her daughter to try and be something that she probably really doesn't want to be. She kind of just is worried about her reputation and what her daughter's going to look like. And then I compared that to the movie Uncle Buck, where at the beginning of the movie, Uncle Buck is kind of just like a lazy man. He lives by himself. He doesn't really care about too much. He has a girlfriend. They're just kind of lazy people. But after he like is asked to babysit for his brother's kids, he kind of has a change in attitude. And then in the end, he ends up being a caring and loving man who wishes that he would have planned his life out a little bit differently.
Thank you, Sarah. That's perfect. And Sarah is almost complete on her analysis, although there are a couple pieces missing. So first of all, let's talk about just the connection superficially. Uncle Buck, gosh, I don't think I've seen that movie in 20 years, maybe. I remember enjoying it quite a bit back in, I think, late 80s, early 90s, Uncle Buck. John Candy, that's right. That's right, one of his better performances. And that's saying something. The man has a wide-ranging oeuvre of wonderful performances. That was sarcasm. All right, that joke fell flat. Sorry. So we've got Uncle Buck, and he's this large, disgusting, lazy man who's a drinker and a smoker, right? And about as bad an influence on kids as you can get. And then when he has to take the responsibility for having these kids, for taking care of them, he transforms, changes to become a loving and caring and responsible person. Excellent. And it's I included in a square kids. Why? What piece of information is that, Connor? The point of change, or the element in the story that transforms him. So, Jing Mei's mother. Notice that Sarah knows exactly what she's talking about here. However, maybe I miss it, but I don't think so. I think in her discussion she left out a couple pieces of information, or at least they weren't as clear. So what pieces of information are missing from Sarah's discussion? Connor again.
The point of change and the ending trait of the two kinds.
Fantastic, Connor. The point of change and the final trait or the ending character of the person, of Jing Mei's mother. Can somebody help help Sarah fill that in? Shelby.
Jing Mei's mom changes, like she becomes kind of like Uncle Buck, how he changes from a bad guy to a good guy. She changes from a pushover to a more,
No. We're talking about Jing Mei's mother, not Jing Mei.
Yeah. Like
Right. From pushy. Pushy to.
uh,
Say that.
more, yeah, she's kind of laid back.
Okay, laid back, accepting. I like that. Somebody who accepts her daughter as who she is and loves her daughter for who she is. Sarah?
I was thinking kind of like level-headed at the end.
Okay, level-headed. Notice that both of these are being used as adjectives, and that's fantastic. But trophy mom's not an adjective. So Sarah, what do we want to say instead of trophy mom? I like trophy mom as a title, by the way, but we want to stick to the grammar standard, and that's an adjective.
What's the yesterday? Something about greedy,
Selfish.
selfish?
But hold on, I'll give you a hint, Sarah. Do the opposite of the outcome. If you have somebody who's accepting of other people, what would you consider the opposite of that to be? closed off. If I can't stand who you are, I need you to be somebody else. What might you call me? Help her out. I'm sorry? A bum? I was thinking of this. Intolerant. Right? Because I don't like who you are. I need you to be somebody else. That's intolerance. Got it. What's the point of change then, Sarah? What transforms her into being accepting? I'm putting Sarah on the spot too much. Josiah.
When they had that big fight, like when she said something about her, this is the guy,
The emotionally draining fight with her daughter. There's a moment of transformation. And so we do have a very clear connection here because we have somebody who's not dealing well with kids. We have somebody who's not dealing well with kids. Going to somebody who is a healthy parent figure, a healthy father or mother figure, somebody who is sensitive and caring, somebody who becomes a little bit less selfish. So Sarah has alerted us to the fact that both Uncle Buck and Two Kinds are kind of drawing from the same basic story. The adult who doesn't do well with kids, transforming through an experience with children to being a responsible and caring adult. There aren't very many stories in the world, folks. Not as many as you might think. They're relatively few. And they just repeat them over and over and over and over and over again in different forms. Such as the example here. Thank you very much, Sarah. That's all we have time for today. So make sure that your connections are in a state where you would like to hand them in. And then you can, make a pile right here.